exfoliate like James Ham does.
Must be
What's
the
up, Ham?
exfoliation. What's going on?
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
We
Yeah.
spent the last 25, 30 minutes trying to decipher this NBA media rights deal that isn't even done yet. But yeah, we're both of the belief that they said it first and was spot on that the NBA seems not to really want anything to do with TNT anymore. They want to move to a broadcasting partner that has a network station like NBC and all that other stuff. And yeah, have you been kind of following it all? I know we've been like
We're
every
locked
chance we
in.
get,
Yeah,
like, we're
we are
locked in.
locked
But
in on
have you
this.
followed it at all? Like how this is kind of played out?
Yeah, I followed like all the early versions. I don't know what's happened today. Since I got stuck
Oh,
in traffic
nothing.
forever on the way home.
Nothing happened today. Nothing
Okay.
happened. We was just
Yeah.
talking.
I think it makes a lot of sense though, because it's not just about like what kind of, network station you have. It's also about what streaming service you have. And I don't think like the TNT, TBS, Warner has kept up with the Joneses when it comes to that. Like there are a lot of people that have Paramount or have Peacock and, or like what we're seeing Amazon and some of the other people who could get involved in this. And like the Warner Brothers like family just doesn't have that kind of stuff. So I think
They got
that's
linked
part
up
of
with
it.
HBO. That was helpful, but
That
it's
was
still
big.
to James's
Yeah.
point. It's not the same though. It's not. I think Peacock is probably
But
up
it's
there
also
on one
not.
of the top
Yeah, it's not
ones.
exclusive. And there's nothing you could do with that. It's
Right.
just airing what's already there.
Right.
Yeah. Like someone asked in the chat, brought to you by Matthews Mattresses.
Very good.
The people that if people use Peacock, the only reason I use Peacock is for like soccer. There are soccer matches that are on there that aren't on anywhere else on the weekends, and even that is a complete pain in the behind because they won't. You got to wait like 2 or 3 hours for them to post the replay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't.
I
Yeah,
remember
it's
when I tried to get
where
inside.
Well,
yeah
they started
everyone
doing
else
that with
has
the
it.
WWE PLEs. Like you couldn't rewatch if it just
I
ended, you
noticed
couldn't
that.
rewatch it
I
right
noticed
away.
that one of them I tried to rewatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, their platform is horrible.
Yeah, it's
And,
not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. They got a lot of
So
things they need to fix.
But I mean,
definitely.
still, it seems like it's more than Max. Seems like they still have enough where it feels like everybody has to go there for something, right?
Sure.
Like whether it's soccer,
Or The
whether
Office.
it's The Office,
Mhm.
whether it's wrestling. Like I think everybody kind of uses that app for one reason or another. Whereas Max,
I think there's a wild card game on there.
yeah, the Chiefs
Mm,
game was on there, Chiefs and
yeah.
Dolphins. So like, while Max, I I mean, I don't go to Max unless like I'm really actively. Oh, let me go watch an episode of The Wire. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like other than that, there's no real reason to go to Max. And and Bryce brings up a great point. The Olympics will be on Peacock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you'll get
Yeah.
all of that as well. So yeah, they just to James's point, Warner Brothers and Max they're not like bad, but they're behind, those
Mhm.
other ones up there.
Mhm.
I actually like their service. It's just they're not known for sports. They're not known for live television. They're known specifically as HBO, the movie station on your cable dial.
Mm.
And that's what they're gonna have a tough time shaking. Where, again, Peacock or, like even Paramount, like they all have their things that they're known for sure. But they also have the ability to run all of their standard like television shows on there. Whatever you watch, if you're watching on Peacock, you can watch all the Law and Orders and all that stuff that are like the still running ones that are live through their system as well.
I'm looking forward to the move to NBC. If it means losing inside the NBA, that's gonna suck or whatever. But I think NBC does a really good job with sports. I think if you look at what they do with football, both pro and college, what they do during Olympics time and things of that nature, I think they do a good job with how they broadcast sports, how they, they cover it, even down to like the graphics and all this other stuff. I think they do a really good job. And if the NBA went to NBC, I think it would be great. It'd be great for the league. I think they do a really good job.
It's just whether or not they can fix their stupid app and make it actually manageable. That's what the problem is. Like, you see so many of these things, they're so difficult to figure out, and all of them are different. Like, I find right now, like, Prime is just like trying to force you to buy some other channel that you had no idea even existed, just so you can watch the last 4 episodes of some stupid show that you started. And you're like, "Well, what are we doing here? Like, I would really, really like to watch the end of this, but I'm not gonna go sign up. Even if it's a free subscription, I'll forget about it. I'll pay 6 months of it until I
That's
finally
what they're
realize."
banking
that's
on.
the plan.
Exactly, and it's just the most ridiculous thing ever, but again, there are shows that I watch on HBO all the time, or on Max, and it's just disappointing that that's kind of where their programming is gone.
A side note to something we were talking about earlier. Look at Wilbon now. Wilbon went and
Oh,
got
Wilbon
changed.
geared up. Oh yeah, yeah. You ain't gonna catch him in a hoodie on.
Wilbon said, "I'm gonna do your little stupid NBA today, but I'm not getting dressed up."
Yeah, Wilbon know what time it is. Like I said, Wilbon's 65 years old. I'm gonna do the show, but I ain't getting dressed for it.
That's right.
I'm throwing on my quarter zip and keeping it moving. James, you think what Dallas did last night is repeatable?
Sure. I think what they did was repeatable. I don't think what the Cavs did was repeatable. Um, yeah, I mean, I think you're talking about, 2 different types of, levels of talent, right? I think there are probably, maybe 3 or 4 teams that are really close to the same talent level, 2 teams that are above that talent level, and 2 teams that are below that level in the final 8. And so, yeah, I think Dallas and OKC, they're on similar talent levels. I think that OKC is probably a little bit better, and long term is going to be in a better position. But I also look at the Knicks as a very similar talent level, maybe the Timberwolves as the same talent level. And then I still put, even though it hasn't gone this way, the Nuggets and the Celtics above those. And then the bottom tier would kind of be Cleveland and Indiana. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that most of them are becoming a little bit of a series, so it's just not boring and we don't get done with this really quick. But yeah, I think Dallas. I mean, Dallas could win that series. I'm not going to put it past them. I don't think they can win the next series, but I think they could win that series just on experience.
Mm. Yeah, I think both teams, the Cavs and the Mavs, have performances that they can repeat. Like I don't think that the Cavs, if you look at the box score and everything, like there's nothing that went crazy. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say Donovan didn't even.
Donovan only
I mean,
had
Donovan was
29.
good, but yeah, he didn't go.
Evan Mobley, maybe he won't get 21, but he can get 17 or something. Like I don't think even Karis LeVert, like I said, maybe he won't get 21, but Darius Garland might get more than 14, especially if you talk about these others being at home. So the question might be, will Boston play to that level again? Maybe not. And maybe that's how you get the win. But I thought Cleveland was just really solid last night. I think they can recreate that, especially, at least one of these next 2 home games.
Yeah, I think that Boston is going to regret one thing from that game, and that is that they let Mobley have any confidence at all. Because watching him throughout the playoffs, he's just been like a waste of space. And I'm a big Evan Mobley fan, but just the way that he's been playing has been like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? You just look soft the whole time, and like he's not ready to be there at all. And all of a sudden, you give him a little confidence. Now, if you can get Garland going, and you got the 3 of them going, now all you need is a little bit of help from Okoro or Max Struess, or again, Karis LeVert. Oh, you just need a couple of guys to start plugging away, and then all of a sudden maybe you do have a series. But I just don't see it. I will also say too that I think it was pretty unfair, Cleveland walking into that game on 1 day's rest and Boston on 5 days rest. And I know that that's the way the playoffs work. If a team sweeps a team, they get extra days off. But I mean, game one was just a waste of our time because you had one team that just had nothing left in the tank from a brutal 7-game series, and another team that was just like, hey, this is easy and this is fun, and just ran over them. So,
All credit to the Cavs for regrouping, because
Mhm.
it's not like they had a long stretch of games off, or days off between games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It was just an every other day, gimmick, and they responded. It was a hell of a job by them yesterday.
Yeah.
Gave the Celtics a lot to think about. Of course, we saw this in the last series. Everybody is really waiting for the Celtics to fail. No one believes that the Celtics are going to be successful. Everyone, like the Celtics are going to get no praise if they win a title. It's going to be like, well, yeah, they were the best team, but they're going to get all of the criticism if they lose.
That's fair. I mean, at this point, they deserve it, don't they? How many years are they like right around the best team in the Eastern Conference? Like, if you can't get over the hump, you can't get over the hump. And, I don't know what to tell you. They've done, like a spectacular job of building not just like a really good young core, but then going out and adding the pieces you need to get over the top, whether it's Horford or whether it's Drew Holiday or, going out and getting Porzingis. Like, there should be no excuses. That team should be the best team in the NBA. Just on paper, they're the best team in the NBA, and by their regular season record, it wasn't even close. Now, like, who are you, and why can't you show up in a big game? I think that's when you start looking at your two guys at the top and say, okay, what exactly are we getting out of you guys, and how do we take a step to get this in the right direction? Because um, you can't just keep having these two guys be together and not be able to win a championship when you can get so close.
How much longer would you give that? I mean, would it be something that if you don't just say they're not able to win a championship at all, right? Would you be looking at that this year? Would you be looking at that after next year? Like, how much longer would you give this?
I don't think I'd give it much longer because you've got guys that are like at the beginning of their prime. So you can trade one of them. Like, it's possible that they're just like, they're going to figure it out here and we're going to watch them roll and win a championship. And then it's like, dynasty time. Like, can they build a dynasty? But I think like you should be getting a little bit tired of the act, right? Like, everyone was so harsh on Jason Tatum, and like, when does he take the leap? And I don't blame him for not taking the statistical leap this season, because I mean, how are you supposed to score more points when they bring in Drew Holiday and they bring in Porzingis, and you still have Brown, you still have all these other pieces. But at some point, like, it's on the stars of that team to be able to deliver a championship. And especially with the amount of payroll and everything else that they've put in to this like particular project. So I don't know. I think at some point, you've got to consider everything if this thing flames out yet again. Now, flaming out, I don't think losing in 7 games in the NBA Finals is flaming out. But not putting on a good show and at least making it close in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough look, though, if you lose to Oklahoma City. Hell, it might even be a tough look if you lose to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like, you know what the conversation is going to be. Y'all got to jump on Minnesota. Minnesota just got here. They win a title year 1. Y'all drop title after title after title. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to – the Celtics are in almost a no-win position. It's crazy.
Well, that's why they have to win.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. I get.
Oh,
yeah,
you hate the Celtics.
I do, but they don't. I don't know if they have to win. Like, they still, even if they lose, they're pretty young.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about from a public perception standpoint.
Yeah.
They're going to get eviscerated if they lose.
Very true.
And you'll just get if they win, you get like a polite golf clap. That's it.
I won't even give them a clap.
Well, yeah, you'll turn your back on them like you will Rock and Cody.
I might give him a clap just because my boy Jesse, but if it wasn't for him, man, I'd be like, nah, I turn my back. Pardon my back.
Well, that's what happens when you're a huge Lakers fan, I guess.
Oh,
well,
wow. Now that is
okay.
What the hell is that all about?
Well, James calling it like it is. He is a journalist, He is a
Come
journalist.
on, man. Come on.
James doesn't partake in our silliness. He takes this stuff seriously. Amber, what's the most compelling series to you that we got going on right now?
I don't know. It's
Knicks
got to
Pacers?
be it's got to be OKC. OKC Dallas. That's got to be the most intriguing because, again, you're dealing Kyrie Irving has a lot of playoff experience, and a lot of players on that team have playoff experience. This is really like fledgling, upstart team in no man's land for OKC. And if they can get through, yeah, I mean, I think that, they're going to be the talk of the league, but I don't know. That's probably it. I mean, the biggest surprise right now is what's happening with Denver, and not only that, I should correct myself. It's how the Timberwolves are just smoking the Nuggets. They're just absolutely crushing them. I think that's the biggest surprise because I think we all expected more from Denver, but I don't think anyone expected this much from that Timberwolves team. What they're doing is like spectacular, and I refuse to take anything away from what they're doing. They're crushing another team, and that to me is really impressive.
You think what you think about that series, man? You think it's about done? Denver still has a good shot. Like how you feel about that one?
I think we'll know everything tonight. Like if the Nuggets fire back and win by 15, then it's game on. They corrected whatever it was that was going wrong. And again, they've got a really good coaching staff. They've been together for a long time. They're missing something. They're not being able to figure out a piece to the puzzle right now. And once they do, they could look like themselves again, but they're running out of time to find that missing ingredient. And that thing is really close to being over. That series is.
I love the Pacers Knicks series. I think that's the one.
Series.
That's the one I'm into the most. What do you think about Rick Carlisle playing small market versus big market the other night in the press conference?
Well, I mean, I think it's a game. Like we want to see. Like the problem I have is that look, your team isn't good enough. So you can say all of that and you can act that way, but you also have to understand that your team, they don't play any defense at all. And that's their bad. That's a coaching problem. That's a player problem. That's, it's the fact that they're probably, a year ahead of where they should be. Because this is, I mean, there's very, 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 very small amount of difference between the Sacramento Kings last season and the Indiana Pacers to this season. They have to figure out how to play defense. And so I get his sentiment that, hey, we're a small market and, we're the little guy and all that stuff. But it's also like, hey, the other team is just more physical and they play defense and they're realistically, they are better than you. So I get it, but I think Rick Carlisle is deflecting a little bit from just the fact that his team isn't quite ready to be there yet, and that's okay. They need to be ready to be there next season and the season after that. Whatever the window is here with Pascal Siakam. But for me, I just look at a team as a team that's just not ready for the prime time and to be at Madison Square Garden in their first 2 second round playoff games and just kind of getting overwhelmed with the situation.
And the thing with them that we talked about a little bit earlier as well is like you had to get one of those 2 games, especially with how well the Pacers have played in those 2 games. Like it wouldn't be it feel a little different if they played those 2 games and they played like Denver did in those 2 games, right? On the road. It's like, yeah, we just didn't really show up, lick your wounds, go back home, see if you can get those 2. But in both games, you played a brand of basketball at some point that was good enough to win, and you didn't get the W. As good as you might have played, you walked out of there down 0-2, and now you got to figure out a way to win 4 games for the next 5 games and play just as good as you did. And it's tough. It's not over for them for a number of different reasons because number one, the Knicks' health issue, and all you got to do is win these 2 games, and then you're back to 3-game series at that point. But man, it really did feel game 2 essentially seemed like, man, that's the one you should have came
especially
away
with Jalen hurt.
Mhm.
You had the lead. OG's out.
Yeah.
You had a lot going for you.
Yeah, I also think that Tom Thibodeau has overplayed his hand really badly so far in the series. Like, I mean, Josh Hart playing 48 minutes every game is ridiculous. The fact that some of his players are starting to break down, and part of that is fatigue. Like, he overplays all of his starters. He refuses to rely on his bench at all. He's getting nothing, like, production-wise. What did he get? 12 points out of his bench last game?
He
And I think
probably doesn't have a choice.
well,
That's
I mean,
also
I
that's
get that,
also
but
a thing. Like, that's also a Tibbs, like, MO. That's on his resume.
oh, no, this is who he is. This is exactly what he does. That's where I would say, yeah, it does matter that he doesn't have, like, the best bench, or that Bojan Bogdanovic got hurt early on, or that Julius Randle's not there. All of those things hurt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, man, you gotta find minutes for somebody else. You gotta find ways to give some of those guys breaks, because, what is it good if you somehow make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but now you got 2 or 3 guys on the injury list out of the 6 or 7 guys that you play.
Yeah.
And, you've got to rely on other people. Like, we can say, like, well, his bench isn't good enough and all that stuff, but I also don't feel like he's put his faith in the bench to, like, be better. I would mention Mitchell Robinson too, but, they knew Mitchell Robinson. They tried to get an injury settlement for Mitchell Robinson at the beginning of the season. They tried to get an exception and claim that he was going to be out the whole year. So you already knew that he was injury prone and he had an issue this season. So you should have figured out ways to bolster the roster along the way somehow. And you're kind of like, you are who you are at this point, but you got to steal some minutes with somebody.
Yeah, which is it's still a little tough too, because the guys that you had there, they got hurt.
They hurt,
So like
yeah.
if 2 of Mitchell Robinson, Randall, and Bogdanovic are there, you know what I mean, and only
It's a
one of
different
those guys
story.
get hurt. Now, instead of going 7 or 8 guys deep, you're able to go 9, maybe 10 guys deep with those guys there. And I think Julius got hurt after the trade deadline, so there wasn't I think all those guys got hurt after the trade deadline. So it's
Well, Bojan and Mitchell definitely.
yeah,
did.
Bojan and Mitchell.
Julius,
in the
I can't
postseason.
remember, but I think he did.
Julius, I think he got hurt, but was trying to figure out if he was going to be able to come back or not.
That's right.
And then after the trade deadline, he was like, "No, I'm gonna get the surgery." So, I mean, you go get an Isaiah Thomas, but that's kind of about it at that point.
Yeah, how much does it help you? Yeah, he got hurt in late January. So
Okay, so you're still
yeah.
a little but it was
still
yeah.
He was in the figure out the treatment thing, and then it became one of those unfortunate not working.
Yeah. But I'll ask James this though. James, are you at the point of no return if you're Tom Thibodeau, or do you take this game? I just said this game specifically, game 3, and be like, you know what? You're not throwing it, you're not conceding it, but you're saying, no matter what, I'm not playing Brunson and Hart more than 33 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it this game. I would do it next game. That's kind of how I would attack that.
Win or lose tonight?
No, I would try to do it. I would try to win tonight's game, and then if you don't win tonight's game, you're going to be in a huge fight in the series. If you do win tonight's game, then I would maybe rest a couple players. But then again, I mean, you're talking about can you get the sweep? And if you can get the sweep and maybe get a couple of 3 or 4 days off, maybe that's a better way to look at this. But and with the Cavs winning a game against Boston, that helps you a little bit, because now you're like, okay, maybe there's a possibility to sneak 2, 3, 4 days off before the next series. But I don't know. To me, it's not. I don't think there is really a solution for them. It's not like I'm saying, hey, can we see Daquan Jeffries for 18 minutes or something?
Daquan.
Daquan.
Yeah. Look down low and swing your arms. Hit Daquan. We had just put it on the soundboard when we lost to Quan.
Oh
Terrible.
man.
Hit the Quan.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I-
Part of me feels like you can't. You just got to do what you do now.
Yeah,
you're already
like
gone too far.
one day or 4 days. It might help Jalen. Might help Josh Hart. Probably just needs some cryotherapy. It ain't gonna help OG Anunoby. Like that's that unless OG defines what we've seen with hamstring issues in the past. If he plays and salute, I think this is one of his finest moments. He's gonna have to do what James Harden did.
Yeah. Now, you said
in
yesterday,
Brooklyn.
I don't know if we seeing OG again.
Yeah,
in these playoffs.
not with that.
Yeah,
But
it really does
if he
depend.
does, if we do, it's going to be what James Harden did, and James Harden, I think, played 48 minutes in Game 6 and 7 because he was smart enough, and the Brooklyn Nets were smart enough to know he's cooked if we take him out. He has to stay out there. That's going to wind up being the case with OG Anunoby, which I'm sure Tibbs would be thrilled with anyways. We'll come back. We'll shift our attention to the Sacramento Kings. We'll talk Kings basketball. Specifically, I got some questions for Hammer regarding Keon Ellis. We'll do that when D'Lo and Casey return here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
Yeah, this is definitely the way Tibbs always does it. That's why it's like, I don't know at what point you reach into the bag and pull out somebody else and give him a shot here. That's not who he is. He has his small group of players that he trusts, and then everybody else is kind of like, glorified cheerleaders, front row guys with front row seats to the game.
Well, I'm looking at the box score from last game, and Alec Burke gonna have to play a little bit more than 1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he played 7 players realistically in the last game, and one of those he played way more than he wanted to because Brunson went down.
Yeah, McBride.
Yeah.
We didn't do it. We didn't do it yesterday. 4:00.
Oh man, that's easy. That's Snoop. That's Snoop.
I don't think I can play it. It's Dre and M.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Oh man, Kenny's having a tough day in here. Oh man, it's a tough day for the Caraways.
It's all back to normal.
Man, this is one of
man.
the worst days in a long time, man. Oh,
Wow.
Sorry guys, I'm working on some KSFM stuff.
Yeah. Leezy, you bring up TJ and Obi have been showing up. Like, Rick Carlisle is an exceptional coach. Like, he's been known throughout his career as one of the best X's and O's guys in the league. And he also, like, he goes deep into his bench, and it's kind of like out of necessity a little bit, but he'll keep searching. And that's just the difference with Tibbs. He's not going to search. And that's what makes it really difficult to see his team, because you're on a path right now. And like what you said, Dame, like, he's not going to likely he's not getting Bogdanovich back. He's probably not getting OG back. Like, this is just where they are.
wow. Coach Bud and the Suns agreed to a $50 million deal.
That sounds like so much.
Did all that in a day, huh? Did all that shit in a day. All right.
Okay, going right now.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
Ooh wee.
Lazy, I don't know about Benedict Mathurin. I mean, he's a guy who really, really likes a ball in his hand. And that's where I think he's having a lot of problems playing with Tyrese and now with Siakam. That's going to be just a tough spot for him.
Guys, just a heads up. We are going to switch over the second the show ends. We have something we have to do on KSFM, and our time is like super limited. So just kind of a heads up. We are switching out quick.
Does the longer the Lakers take to hire their coach mean like more it's going to be JJ Redick?
I don't think so. I think they have to be reading, especially with the Bronny stuff still out there. They have to know that's a bad look. They have to.
Do they?
Well,
Do they?
well,
They don't seem to care what a bad look is.
well. You might be right.
Man, these people with their Keegan Murray like photoshops. Some wild stuff happening out there.
We may switch over and talk almost instantly.
Okay.
Whoa. Well, I'll say goodbye to you guys now then.
I think I got everything. I think I got everything set up. Oh my! Wait, what is going on? Why is this a thing?
That's because I put it out there earlier that Keegan is representing the Kings at the draft lottery.
Oh, right. Yes, I saw that.
And so it started, I think, with this.
Well, all right. That's probably inappropriate.
Do the Kings have like any odds of moving up a couple spots, or is it just kind of like they're?
Yeah, I mean they're
14?
slim to none, but yeah, they can.
It feels like it's like feast or like.
And I'm not talking
all
about
or
like
nothing.
top 6 or anything like that, but maybe like
No.
they get 10th pick. No.
No, you
No,
can only
no.
move the top 4.
To the
Oh, I
top
got
4.
That's what
So
I'm
they have
saying.
a
if they move up, that's
0.8.
all they can do.
That's what I say. It's all or nothing, right?
Yeah.
All right, trade the
Well, they
pick
have
now.
a
Then.
0.8 of number 1. Like it's 0.1 of number 2, like 1.1 and whatever it is, it works out to like 3.84% that they can move into the top 4.
Yeah, that's why I was telling people, don't celebrate the Warriors winning. Wait till we know that the Warriors are drafting in that position.
Who's got the cold envelope?
Right.
I think we discussed this earlier. Like, do you want to move up?
Well,
We could discuss if you'd like, but
oh, Zay, you wild for that. James, I'm gonna retweet this so you can see what that was. Zay, you wild for that. We're coming back, James. That is Zay is cutting up.
Yeah, you know,
here.
he going
Oh,
crazy
man.
this week, man. He going
Man.
crazy.
A couple of things, or actually just one thing before we get to the Kings. The Phoenix Suns have come to a very, very pricey agreement with Mike Budenholzer to be their next head coach. 5 years, $50 million. That's $10 million per year for Mike Budenholzer. Can you believe they got this deal done in less than 24 hours? Boy, that is an efficient negotiating team. I'm sure this hasn't been in the works for weeks.
So
they fired Frank Vogel when they knew what Mike Budenholzer wanted. That's why it took so long.
What's wrong with that?
Something coaching brotherhood, something. Didn't Rick Carlisle say something about Chris Finch when he got the job or whatever?
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle always gonna have something to say. I mean,
that's his job.
That's
the
what he
Coaches
does.
Association.
But I mean, that's I don't have a big problem with it.
He was dead in the water. That's I'm not capping for Frank Vogel. That's just they treated him like trash. That's whack.
Yeah,
that's whack. But hey, salute to Mike Budenholzer. Good luck, bro. Good luck, because if you think the only problem was Frank Vogel, salute. Good luck.
But we did talk about this yesterday, and just because they got rid of Frank Vogel doesn't mean that was the only problem, or they even think that was the only problem. That was we talked about. That's literally like the only thing they can do differently.
That's what I'm saying. But this team's not going to be able to fix their problem.
Yeah, but you could. I don't think you could have just gone back next year. You got to do something,
I guess,
because like that you're going. It's just almost wasting a year with knowing that what they did next year wasn't going to be fixed with the personnel they had and the coach that they had. It may not be fixed now either, but at least you like have a puncher's chance.
Okay. I
Yeah,
guess. Y'all wanted
John-
Budenholzer fired for 4 years in Milwaukee. Now all of a sudden he's going to save Phoenix. All right.
Oh, I don't think nobody's saving Phoenix.
Well,
he did win a chip there in Milwaukee.
yeah.
One of the things, because I was tapped into the streets of Phoenix, Arizona last night.
You can tap into the streets too on the Odyssey app.
Well, absolutely. Download the Odyssey app or just go on YouTube too, because I was on YouTube. But
Company man Kenny Caraway right there. Wow.
Or
Wow.
Well, we're I'm talking about our show.
No, it's fine.
I was talking about our show. They I'm talking about ESPN 1320 on YouTube. But one of the things they talked about was, which was something they should have noticed from the start, but a team with KD, Booker, and Bill, you might have to play to their strengths a little bit more as an offensive coach. Frank Vogel was a defensive coach.
Why he was a bad hire to start with.
Facts. But they saw that firsthand, and they're like, yeah. And like I said, they talk to people and they're like, look, we know the roster has its flaws, but Bill's got a no trade. You're not going to trade Booker. You're not going to trade KD.
Mm-hmm.
And
Until
they
he
make too
says,
much
I want to
money.
go to Sacramento.
There's that.
Then you trade him.
There you go. But that was, unfortunately, that was the only move.
That's
was
fine.
literally
Like
the
I
move.
just I don't know. I think I'm just sour on that organization right now. That's all.
That's fine. I don't care.
I didn't like the organization to begin with, but I don't know.
That's what I said. I don't care.
I just think that's this is a trash look for Frank Vogel. He didn't deserve that.
yeah, but how many times has
He's
Frank
got a 5-year
Vogel
deal.
been let go? Like
Frank Vogel got a 5-year
Yeah, I
deal?
think he had a 5-year
Hey,
deal
salute,
last year.
Frank.
Yeah.
Salute.
Yeah.
That's 4 more years, buddy.
Yeah, I mean Frank Vogel has been like unceremoniously let go in the last 3 jobs before this. So I mean,
Well,
like
he stunk in Orlando.
I mean, yeah.
Or Orlando stunk.
I think
wasn't he with the Lakers?
he was.
Well, yeah, though. So the Suns, Lakers, and Orlando, right?
Yeah,
Those are the
yeah.
last 3.
He does for sure. And I'm not saying one way or another, but we do just kind of assume Frank Vogel's like this good coach.
I have no idea. I've always said I don't understand Frank Vogel as a coach. He was good in Indiana. I know that.
Yeah. He was
Well,
in
he
an
was and then he
impossible
wasn't.
situation. He was in an impossible situation kind of in Phoenix, but it's also possible that he wasn't good. It's possible.
I mean, I guess he won a championship in LA.
Well, I mean,
I don't-
it's not the same. It's not the same. But didn't Luke Walton set a record for starts in the season?
That's not the
Mhm.
same. Oh,
He
no.
led that team. What was he in?
He ain't do nothing.
It's like when they were combing the desert. He ain't found bleep.
Yeah, man.
Shout out Luke. He's in the playoffs.
Quinn Snyder was this super coach, and he can't do nothing in Atlanta.
Oh, that's true.
You're only as good as your
roster
players.
problems. Yeah, it's a
Only as
roster
good as your
problem.
players, and you got to be able to reach those players as well.
Yeah, I also John Poles asked a question. What does this mean for Mike Brown, or is this like this is a good thing for Mike Brown? Yeah, the Budenholzer deal kind of. I mean, the difference is that one of them has an NBA championship and one of them doesn't. But as far as like win
Mike's got
percentages,
5.
yeah,
Or
Mike does have a lot of rings.
He's got 5, right?
He's got
San-
5.
He's
San
got
Antonio's-
all 4
Yeah.
with
So he's got
San
one
Antonio.
from San Antonio. He has 3 from the Warriors.
3.
So I think
Ah,
he has 4.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah.
Still. They count.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for him, man.
They count.
He's looking at 8 to 10, 7 to 10 million.
He should be looking at 8 to 10.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say he's probably looking at 10 to 12 because that's where some of these other coaches are going. And I don't know what Mike Budenholzer's career win percentage is, but I'm going to guess it's probably a little higher than Mike's. Just because he
Say,
played.
these two might be damn near identical. His win percentage is 604.
Oh, same. Yeah,
It's
604. I
like
think
that's
Mike's
almost exactly the
606.
same, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what Budenholzer's is.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Yeah, 604. He's
Mike is
480.
607.
Yeah,
If I'm Mike's agent, that's good for another $2 million right there. I was thinking these two are they're damn near the Spider-Man meme, with one exception. That title that Budenholzer has.
Yeah.
But these
but
are
I'd also
60-win coaches. Like, Budenholzer won 60 games in Atlanta. Mike won 60 games in Cleveland.
Yep.
Then was fired.
And I would add too that Mike went back after doing a lot of good things in Cleveland and then having some rockiness with the Lakers in Cleveland. He went and was an assistant on the best team in the league for years. And again, took home all those championships and sort of calmed down a little bit and changed who he was a little bit as a coach.
You're right. I agree 100%. Just those are two jobs Mike shouldn't have taken. Well, I take that back. I take that back. The Lakers job was tough. You take that job. Yeah. Like you don't back away from that. He should not have gone back to Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree with you on
that. There was no good that was going to come out of that. He shouldn't have gone back to Cleveland.
Probably did it out of loyalty more than anything else.
Loyalty to who?
Ownership.
To who?
At the time.
The Cleveland fans? Because it better not have been to Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Again, to do 160 games and he fired you because he thought that's what LeBron wanted. Didn't even get LeBron. And then wrote a letter to LeBron. Then hired Byron Scott and fired him too. I was begging Byron Scott, bro, don't take that job. Don't do that.
I forgot about the Comic Sans letter.
Oh, man.
Forgot about that.
Coaching game is cold.
It is.
Coaching game is cold.
It is. But, I mean, they got to get paid handsomely, man. They get paid handsomely. Frank Vogel, he getting a lot of money to not do nothing.
Mike won 127 games his last 2 years in Cleveland. Mike Brown won 127 games his last 2 years in Cleveland and got fired. Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. Like I said, I look at these coaches though, man. They're making a lot of money.
And then won 41 of 66 games his first year in LA, and he was a failure. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's wild. This game's crazy.
It is. Once again, they get paid handsomely to play this game.
Yeah.
They do. They do.
They do. They do.
Like we talking about multi-millions.
Yeah,
to play this game.
No, I get it. I get it.
Frank Vogel probably made about $25 million in his career.
That might coach.
It don't even seem like.
I might be cutting them short.
Oh no, I'm gonna guess that Vogel's made closer to 65, 70 million bucks in his life.
Frank, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's his profession. I don't want to minimize it to a dollar figure, but come on, man.
Yeah, but when you take half of it, it's only 30 million. Oh man. Well, good luck to everybody involved, for God's sakes. Good luck to Mike. Hey, Vivek, get out that pocket.
Come on,
well, give Mike on the golf course.
Deals get made on the golf course.
That's what I hear.
You know that.
That's what I hear. James, you broke the news that Keegan Murray will be in attendance for the lottery, which I guess is next Tuesday? ?
Sunday, I think.
It's Sunday.
It's the 12th. Yeah, it's Sunday at noon.
Awesome.
That's
new. Very, very, very
Sunday.
Early.
Yeah,
it's Sunday and it's very early. They normally do it during the conference finals, but I'm all for that.
And the internet, I guess, hasn't been the same since James tweeted that news out. And well, some of your Photoshops, ladies and gentlemen, are inappropriate. Please stop Photoshopping Keegan's head on Jesus. Don't do that. Don't. Although, if it works, by all means, continue to do it.
Or as baby Jesus,
Or baby Jesus.
Russell Hunt brings up a good point in the chat. We're doing this on Mother's Day, the lottery.
Yeah,
maybe the NBA doesn't care about Mother's Day. We fired Luke on Mother's Day. We got this now.
Maybe.
I wonder why they moved it up.
That's a good question.
It was usually always game 2 of. Is it whatever
on a Tuesday?
Whatever.
Wednesday.
Whatever ESPN had, whether Eastern or Western, it was game 2 on usually a Tuesday, and that's when the lottery will be going into that game 2. and they moved it to Sunday afternoon,
It's
a
weird.
whole round earlier. Oh well, not complaining. That's
Maybe
fine.
maybe they're like, no one cares about this lottery, so let's just bury it on Mother's Day and keep it moving.
Next year, when Cooper Flag is available, it'll go back to its
Oh
regular
yeah,
time.
yeah. It's going to
That's
get
right.
it's going to get the decision. It's going to be called the lottery, the primetime special, exclusively on Amazon Prime.
Remember they had, and I doubt it'll be this way this time because it's on Mother's Day. They had Zion and all them boys in Chicago or whatever for the lottery.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
I
I
think what would be funny is if you moved up in this draft and it was a bad, like, you can't trade it. Like, right now, so the number 13 pick, it's got value in this draft, right? Like, there's going to be people who fall in love with some player around number 13, and you'll be able to trade it. You might not get what you might normally get, but if you move up into the top, let's say you have like the second pick in this draft, I don't know what the value is there. I think, yes, there's more value in the number 2 pick than the number 13 pick, but I also would be concerned that no one's going to want to pay one of these guys $9 or $10 million a year for their rookie scale contract. This isn't a good draft, and nobody is guaranteed to be, like a rotational player, like early on in their career at the top of the draft. And so my concern would be moving up would be a bad thing. Like, the last thing the Kings want to do, again, over here in the Matthews mattresses, chatty house that's going on. We always hear from Rory about how, the Kings won't spend above the luxury tax, right? They've never been a luxury tax team. So if they're able to retain Malik Monk, they're able to get someone to either trade or sign for the mid-level exception. That puts them at the luxury tax. But if you go from number 13 to number 4 or number 2 and you're paying $9 million, all of a sudden you're going to be like $6 million over the cap. And that's a lot. In this draft, I don't think those are like $10 million players in the first like 4 years of their career at the top end of the draft. Maybe I'm wrong.
Kings really should have gone into the salary cap for Quincy AC and all of the stellar players that they've had here during Vivek's
Mo
run.
Harkless.
Mo Harkless.
Yeah.
Mo Harkless, Alex Lynn, and who was the other one?
Metu.
Chemezi Metu, that we're starting alongside Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox.
A quick look at some of these mocks. One mock, I've got Zach Edey going to the Kings. That would be a disaster.
Big Zach Edey guy.
Yeah, that would be a complete disaster. And I would look at Monty sideways if he did that. Another one, Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. I like that kid. He's a young boy, but I like him a lot.
He's not a Monty guy then.
That's true. Another one
Monty is not drafting a 19-year-old.
This one is crazy. They got Klingon from UConn, the big guy, all the way at 13. I seen him as high as
second
2.
round. Oh
no, I've seen him as high as like 2.
Who was the second? Oh,
Klingon.
That was the kid from. That was the kid from. Who was your team, James? Was it Iowa? Who was in the championship?
No, it's Edey. That's who Edey is, a guy who could possibly go in the second round. Yeah. And that's what I think what you're talking about, how these things are all over the place, right? Our friend of the show, Brett Huff, he does his cumulative draft every year where he pulls all of the mocks and he continuously tracks them and then comes out with like a score for whatever a cumulative draft, basically. And he said that it's funny because ESPN's number 1 pick, the first pick in the draft, is number 10 on the Ringer, and the Ringer's number 10 is number 1 is number 9 on ESPN. And that's just like this draft. And you brought up Klingham, and he literally looks like a guy who would go in the early to mid 20s, not a guy who would go in the top 5. I mean, he can block shots, but like, he's not Walker Kessler, and at least I don't think he is. Maybe he's got a little bit more offensive game, but not much. And so I'm baffled Like that's what this draft is tough, and a lot of
Yeah.
18, 19-year-olds, and then a bunch of European prospects.
You know what that means? Kings are
Trade
winning.
out.
Kings are winning. Kings are going to
Yeah.
get their second #1 overall pick in history this year. Couldn't have been it couldn't have been last year. Couldn't have been a year where Zion was available or Ant-Man. Nope. It's going to be this year.
Alec, I think this is how you say his name. Alex Sarr is the Ringers' #1 pick. Guy
Well,
from
got to
France.
take him for 50
I bet-
cents. I like Alex.
I like Alex. I actually seen like some highlights. He looked like he can play. 6'11" guy that can move.
His brother plays for OKC. Well, I think it's OKC,
No,
mostly for the Blue.
or you talking about because
Sarr.
Cody Williams' brother is Jalen Williams.
No.
Cody Williams go to Colorado. His brother is Jalen Williams, one of the
Yeah.
J-Dubs.
No.
Star's got a brother with the blue, you said?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
I think he played against the Kings at one point. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've seen Alex play. I've never seen his brother play.
No, this is all compelling. This is all really selling me on the draft. No, I'm hyped now. I can't wait to stop what I'm doing on Mother's Day to watch the lottery.
Olivier Sarr. That's who it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard that name. I don't know what he.
I almost guarantee he played
That's
against
right.
the Kings this season.
Maybe that's why I heard that. I heard that name though.
Yeah.
I think
And he's a 7-footer. Yeah.
Yeah, but does he protect the rim, James? Because the Kings clearly desperately need a rim protector.
Yes. That's all we're going to hear about. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he didn't play against the Kings. Maybe I was just watching a random game and he happened to show up in a game. Yeah.
That happens.
It's not great. Oh, no. I was watching the G League playoffs, I believe, and he was playing against the Kings. The Stockton Kings.
Well, so you were right. You didn't
Yeah.
say he played against the Sacramento Kings.
True dat.
You said he played against the Kings. So, James, as usual, factually accurate. I was going to ask you a question about Keon Ellis, but, we dove into this draft and we don't have time.
Quickly,
So
I can
we'll
say
just-
it in 8 seconds or less. No, go ahead.
I don't even know how to ask the question. I was going to have a conversation about Keon and his development. And we always talk about Keegan. Keon started so much this year. Like, what are we hoping for his development to be? What are we wanting him to do next? What do we expect him to do? Of course, I don't even think we know his role yet. I mean, there's so many different layers to this. It's a lengthy conversation.
True.
But I just don't think we talk about Keon and what might be next for him enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think
That's
he's
the
going to
proper
be your
answer,
starting
James, given that we have like 30 seconds. That was the perfect answer.
King starting shooting guard next year. Boom.
Even if Malik is here?
Probably.
Oh, that was not convincing.
Yeah, we'll talk about this on Monday.
So, yeah, apparently we talk too much, and Charlie has programmed the show to cut us off at exactly 3:55.